What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is MasterAquatics and I do freshwater fish videos. So I wanted to do like a little comparison between two fish that I purchased last month that I haven't really shown on camera too much. I have the Apollo sharks here, and these are just amazing fish, and I wanted to compare them to the humphead glassfish, which is also an amazing fish, but there's a big difference between the two. Let's go ahead and talk about the Apollo shark first. The Apollo shark is not valued as much as the other fish that I'm going to be talking about later on in the video. That's not to say that these fish are not interesting. You can't base a fish's character and personality off their price or value. It all comes down to their character and how they act in the tank when you get them, and how fun it is to keep these guys. And for me, these guys are really fun to keep. I love my Apollo sharks. Apollo sharks are one of the most active and most energetic fish that I've ever kept. They're like the wiener dogs of fish. They just never run out of energy. They're always so hyper. They're always moving around. It's almost impossible getting good shots of these guys. I had a really hard time filming these guys. They are extremely fast. They are easy to feed. They eat almost anything that you throw at them. You can give them flakes. You can give them bloodworms. You can feed them crickets. You can feed them live foods such as ghost shrimp or feeder guppies. If you're against live food, then you shouldn't have a problem feeding these guys because, like I said, they are omnivores, so they will accept non-meaty foods and flake foods. So again, they're not finicky eaters. They'll take almost anything. As far as water parameters go, I wouldn't compare these guys to discus or angelfish, but they do require some clean water. I wouldn't recommend having these guys in dirty water. So if you're the type of person to slack on water changes, I don't recommend that you get Apollo sharks for your tank. Are they peaceful? For the most part, yes, they are peaceful. I've never had any aggression problems with these fish, but I can't speak for adult Apollo sharks. The ones that I have were pretty young. These guys, they can get up to 8 to 9 inches. These are, I believe, the silver Apollo sharks. That's what they were called when I got them from Petco. Yes, I did buy these fish from Petco because I've never seen these fish before. I've never seen these fish at my local fish store. I was at Petco buying food for my predator tank, and I came across these guys, and I thought, hey, these guys look pretty cool. I want to try these guys out. And as I've mentioned before in a previous video, I want to try to keep as many fish as I can and see how I do with each one. I'm not going to be successful with every fish that I keep, but I am going to try and document my experience and upload my experiences to YouTube so you guys can watch. As far as care requirements for these sharks, they require warm waters because they are tropical fish. So you will need to have a heater for these guys. They can be put in a community tank as long as the fish that they are in with are not small enough to where they can swallow them, because like I mentioned before, they will eat live food. So if you have small fish in there that can fit into their mouths, they are going to eat that fish, and they will eat them because they are fast. They can catch any fish, almost any fish. These guys are really speedy. They have lots of agility. Now, if you do some research online, you will find that it is recommended to keep these guys in groups. I got 3 of these guys and they did fine. They did not pick on each other at all. Now, there are 3 subspecies of the Apollo shark. Like I said, I have the silver Apollo shark, which is the friendly variant of the Apollo shark. There is the longfin shark, and there is the other variant, which is supposedly very different than the one that I have and can get really aggressive. So make sure that before you buy one of these fish, make sure that you research them and make sure that you get the right fish for your aquarium, because if you get the wrong variant of the Apollo shark, it could be disastrous to your community tank, as there is a very aggressive variant of these guys and they will attack and kill your fish. Now, the only problem that I've had with these guys is that they are jumpers and they are very skittish fish. Very skittish fish. They are like the schizophrenic version of the bala shark, so you need to be careful when approaching these guys. If you make any sudden movements to these guys, they might possibly try to jump out of your tank. So make sure that you have a very tight lid, make sure that it's secure, because one morning you might wake up and find one of these guys on your carpet floor all dried up and dead because they decided they wanted to jump out of the tank because you turned on the light and walked too fast to the bathroom in the middle of the night to take your piss. So make sure that their aquarium is in an area where there is not a lot of foot traffic, and also make sure to feed these guys well and often. Don't overfeed, but make sure that they are fed well. That is my motto, and make sure that they are well taken care of and that they have a big enough tank to live in, because like I said previously, they do get 8 to 9 inches. The next fish that we have is the humphead glassfish, not to be mistaken with the Indian glassfish. These are two different fish. These guys were really pricey. I got these guys from Petco as well, because sometimes Petco carries fish that my local fish store does not carry, and I saw these guys at Petco because once again I was at Petco. I go there quite often. I get my rosy red minnows, my bloodworms, my bug bites. I get most of my supplies there. I don't usually get my fish from there, but I saw these guys and they only had 3, and I decided to get all 3. They were $30 each. So they are a pricey fish. In my opinion, these are beautiful fish. These are not as fast moving as the Apollo sharks. They're not slow fish either. They do have some speed. They do have some agility. They are totally different than the Apollo shark. For one, they have that big old hump on their heads, which has no use at all other than it being cosmetic. It's just for looks. I'm not sure if it means that they are male or female. I don't know how to sex these guys. If you are an expert on humphead glassfish, you can leave a comment down below explaining how these are sexed, how these fish are sexed, or what their hump heads are for. All I know is that I thought they were a unique and interesting fish, and I like the fact that they were see-through. Unfortunately, when you feed these guys, you're not going to see the food in their stomach. You can see their stomach, but you can't see the food pass through them, and you also can't see them pooping, which in a weird way I kind of wanted to see. Don't judge me, okay? These fish are like the Apollo sharks. They're omnivores. They will eat small live food. Any fish that can fit in their mouths, they are going to eat that fish. They will eat krill. They will eat bloodworms, ghost shrimp. They are not picky eaters at all. They'll even eat flakes. I feed them bug bites. I love feeding my fish bug bites. It's one of the best foods that I can feed my fish, and I recommend that you guys feed it to your fish as well. I'll leave a link down below for that product. Now, taking care of these fish is kind of tricky. Immediately after getting these guys, I lost 2 of the humphead glassfish, and there is a reason for that. It's not due to negligence, because I always take care of my fish, but sometimes things happen. One thing that happened with these guys is that they are really aggressive fish, but only towards each other. Now, if you want to keep these fish, you either want to keep them by themselves, meaning just one by themselves, or you want to keep them in a big group. I had 3, and the dominant one killed both of the other humphead glassfish. And it was very unfortunate because these fish are really pricey. Don't want to lose pricey fish. If you're wanting to get humphead glassfish, make sure that they are in a group of like 6 or more. And they don't need a big tank because they don't get that big. So you can keep 6 of them in a 75-gallon tank. You can also keep them in a community setting because they will not go after any other fish. I've had no aggression problems with this fish when it comes to different species of fish. For whatever reason, they only like to be aggressive towards each other. Kind of like angelfish. Angelfish will not be aggressive towards other fish except for each other. It's kind of weird. I don't know why. It's like that's just the way that they communicate. It's like an everyday thing for them, is just to beat up each other. I don't know. I don't understand how fish communicate that way, but that's how they are. We just gotta accept. Now, these fish do require warm water, so make sure that you have a heater for these fish as well. Make sure that they have at least a 55-gallon tank or more. Like I said before, they don't get that big. Also, make sure that you have good filtration in the tank for these guys because they require pristine water conditions. Their native origins, they are found in streams in the Far East, so that's why they require the pristine water, because where they come from, that's what they thrive in, that's what they live in. I recommend using a canister filter. I'll leave a link down below for some filters that you can use for these guys. And also, in addition, with a canister filter, I recommend that you use a sponge filter, which would also be a nice addition to the canister filter. That way you get double filtration. And also with a sponge filter, it releases bubbles, which will in addition add oxygen to the water, which is very helpful to these guys. That's how I've kept this one alive so far, and he's gotten really muscular and just really just beefed up, and he's pretty swole. He looks like he's been lifting some weights. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. My name is MasterAquatics, and I better see you guys in my next video. Take care, and I'll see you later, my masters. Bye.